The night was supposed to be a celebration, a dream come true, but instead it became a nightmare. What would you do if the person you were supposed to love more than anyone else turned out to be someone you couldn't trust at all? A scream echoed through the mansion's empty halls. Before we explore this tragic case, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to True Crime Exposed. We share astonishing stories that will challenge your perceptions of trust and loyalty, and this one is sure to leave you questioning everything. It was raw, filled with terror, and unlike any scream heard on that night before. But it wasn't just a scream, it was a final, tragic goodbye. Brittany was the epitome of grace. Beautiful, poised, a dream bride. David, the perfect groom. Kind, gentle, and deeply in love. Their wedding had been the talk of the town. The kind of love everyone envied. The kind of couple that made you believe in fairy tales. They had been planning this day for months. Brittany's dress sparkled with every step. Her smile never faltered, and David couldn't take his eyes off her. Everyone agreed. It was a love story that was meant to last forever. But even the happiest faces can hide secrets. Beneath the surface, the air was thick with something no one else could see, a subtle crack in the perfect facade. The reception had ended. Guests filed out, their laughter still hanging in the air like perfume. Brittany and David retreated to their private suite, a room adorned with soft candlelight and rose petals. At first, the night seemed to flow as expected. Laughter, sweet kisses, promises of forever whispered in the quiet moments. But beneath her beautiful exterior, Brittany's heart was racing. Her hands trembled as she fixed her wedding ring. This is my chance. This is my only chance. The thought echoed in her mind like a countdown. David smiled, oblivious to the storm building in her eyes. He kissed her forehead tenderly, and she smiled back, just a little too widely. Something was wrong. Something had always been wrong. As the clock struck midnight, Brittany suddenly stopped. She froze, staring at David, her husband, the man who had loved her unconditionally. David, still caught in the dreamlike joy of the evening, didn't notice the sudden change in her. He laughed softly and reached for her hand, but she jerked away. A split second of panic flickered across her face. "What's wrong?" he asked, his voice soft with concern. Brittany took a deep breath, trying to steady her voice. "David, I need to tell you something. Something I've been hiding." His face softened. "Whatever it is, we'll work through it. You know that." The silence that followed was heavier than any words. Brittany couldn't bring herself to speak for a moment. Her pulse quickened, but she had to say it. He had to know the truth. "The truth," she whispered to herself. "The truth about me." David leaned forward, puzzled, but Brittany wasn't looking at him anymore. She was staring at something just beyond his shoulder, her eyes wild, filled with an unspeakable secret. And then she finally said it. "You were never supposed to love me this much, David. I never planned on this. I never wanted you. You were just my way out." David blinked, his face falling. "What are you talking about?" Brittany's smile grew cold and empty. She took a step back, her hand gripping something behind her, the glint of a blade catching the candlelight. The moment hung in the air, thick with betrayal and disbelief. In the blink of an eye, it happened. David's eyes widened as the sharp blade drove into his chest, a sickening sound of steel meeting flesh. His body froze for a moment, as if unwilling to accept the horror unfolding. "Brittany, why?" he gasped, his voice laced with confusion, pain, and betrayal. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't waver. She had made her choice, and now she was bound to it. "You were never supposed to love me so much, David," she whispered through clenched teeth. "You were supposed to be a means to an end." David's body crumpled to the floor, and Brittany stood over him, her breath ragged. She watched as the life drained from his eyes, as the man she had once promised to love and cherish slipped away. And then, as if the weight of the moment hit her all at once, she dropped the knife. It clattered to the floor, a chilling sound in the silence that followed. Brittany stood alone in the room, staring at David's lifeless body. Her pulse slowed, and in the eerie quiet, she felt as though she were floating, detached from everything around her. The police arrived within minutes, responding to a frantic 911 call made by one of the remaining wedding guests who had heard a scream. Brittany was calm when they entered, her face pale but eerily composed. She said nothing at first. When they found her standing over David's body, knife in hand, it was clear what had happened. But the confession came as a shock to everyone. "I loved him once," Brittany said, her voice hollow, the weight of what she had done settling over her like an avalanche. "But love doesn't matter when it traps you. I had no choice, you see. I had to be free." Her voice broke, but it was too late. As Brittany was led away in handcuffs, the detective stood still, staring at her. He knew the case was clear, but in the quiet of his mind, the question lingered. Was Brittany a heartless killer, or a woman driven to madness by desperation? What happens when the truth is too dark to face? And as Brittany disappeared into the shadows of the police car, the audience was left with that same thought, one they couldn't quite shake. Would you have made the same choice, or could love have ever truly saved her? This story taps into intense emotional turmoil, using the shock of betrayal, the depth of desperation, and the chilling aftermath of a life altered beyond repair. The dramatic irony where the audience knows more than David creates a potent sense of dread throughout, leading to a final act of irreversible violence. The moral question left at the end forces the viewer to reflect on the true nature of love and its power to both heal and destroy. If you found this story surprising, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more true crime stories that expose the truth. Thanks for your support. What would you have done in his shoes? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section.